Hey everybody, Austin here again with a quick play. Today we're going to be playing through TaleSpin for the NES. This is actually one of those games that I did not play growing up as a kid. I think I dabbled with it once or twice when I started collecting NES carts in the early 2000s, but it felt really weird, so I never really stuck with it or got very far. It wasn't until just a few weeks back that I decided to fire it up in order to try to learn some new games for this channel, and ended up going through the game, I think, on my first try. Now granted, this game tosses out extra lives like candy on Halloween, so it's not that difficult to learn, but it does have some tricky aspects to its gameplay, and it does have a couple of, I would say, especially in your first time playing, some pretty challenging boss fights, where if you don't know the exact strategy, you are going to get annihilated. I feel like this might even use like the same engine as Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, because it makes a lot of the same sound effects when you take hits. A lot of the lack of iframes are there, so you can take multiple hits back to back really fast. And so, you know, that combined with tricky situations and kind of an obtuse gameplay system, you can die really fast in this game. And, you know, just like in Chip 'n Dale, if you don't know what you're doing, you can die really fast in that game too. So, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and play through this game. I've played it quite a bit over the last few weeks, trying to learn it for the first time, and it's definitely an interesting game. It's one of those games that generally isn't viewed highly, I think, in the retro gaming scene, and as a shoot-'em-up, which is the kind of game it actually is, I don't think it's very good, but if you look past the fact that it's kind of a wonky shmup, it's actually kind of an interesting game on its own terms, if you just look at it as like this interesting Capcom Disney game from, you know, the early 90s. And I'll talk more on that as we play through it. You'll see exactly what I mean once we start explaining the mechanics and things like that. So, but yeah, this should probably take us, I'm thinking, maybe about a half an hour to go through. It's not too long if you know what you're doing. But yeah, let's go ahead and hit that start button and jump right into it. So, wake up, Baloo! We've got lots of work today. I've lined up 8 assignments already, so get out of your hammock and shake a leg. And by the way, Baloo, Don Carnage and the pirates are intercepting cargo planes, so do me a favor, be careful. So yeah, Don Carnage is actually going to be one of the final bosses in the game. He actually makes an appearance on the very first level, and you can't actually hurt him, and I'll point him out once he appears. So we're given assignments, and this is all just story fluff. It doesn't really matter, but they do kind of hint at some things that you can do. One of those things is that, well, she just said it right now, Don Carnage is going to appear, and so he will appear, you know, in like the first minute on the first level. But she also mentions picking up cargo, and so there's one actually really important mechanic in this game, is you do get money, and it's based on how much cargo you pick up, it's how much money bags you pick up, and things like that. Whether you've gotten secret exits, or not secret exits, but secret rooms, as well as finding all the cargo and the money bags to get what's called a perfect bonus. And you actually earn money in this, and you can buy upgrades for your plane, and that's actually really important for survival in this game. If you don't get those perfect bonuses, you're not going to get your plane upgraded until later on in the game, which makes earlier parts harder than they probably need to be. So our goal is to survive, beat bosses, shoot stuff, pick up money bags, and pick up cargo. And they sort of tell you that here, like, pick up the cargo. So, alright, so here we go. So this is TaleSpin. This is going to be a really weird one to explain, but you'll notice that I'm actually just kind of bouncing back and forth. This is what happens when you press the A button. So while this is a shoot-'em-up, you do have some control over where the screen scrolls. And if you go all the way back to a point like this, you can't go any further, so you can kind of just sit there and chill. There is no timer in this game. You can literally sit here in the corner all day long if you want. But yeah, the other interesting thing is that you can pitch up and you can pitch down, and when you do that, Baloo here will actually shoot in those directions. And these little suitcase-looking things, that is cargo, so that is what we need to pick up, along with this money bag here. Now, if you shoot around the playfield, you will notice that other things will appear, like fruits. And that little thing right there, that doorway, is one of our bonus rounds. If you want to get a perfect bonus at the end of a level, you have to access at least one of these bonus rounds. A lot of levels have 2 of them, and each one will house an extra life somewhere in them. Now, I think there's only 2 specific bonus rounds that follow basically, you know, One follows one pattern, another follows another, and this one always has an extra life there at that bottom right portion. And that's it. So we just have to wait for this to time out, and then we'll get tossed right back into the main gameplay. And then, again, this guy right here is Don Carnage. I recommend just staying on the bottom of the screen. Nothing special there. Now, if you want to get the perfect bonus to get the maximum amount of money, which again is going to make your life easier by allowing you to upgrade, you know, faster, there are hidden money bags on some levels, and this level actually has one of them. Yeah, I've probably played through this game like 10 times, and never got a perfect bonus on this level until I managed to find out where that hidden money bag is. So, the hidden money bag on this level is actually right around here, right there, there it is. Usually, levels with hidden money bags only have like 1 or 2. It's not a ton, so it is pretty easy to figure out where the hidden money bags are. Also, these guys are a little difficult to take out. Ideally, you want them to just kind of line up horizontally with you, and then just stay straight and shoot them. But this is where the back and forth mechanic comes into play. I know a lot of people have complained about this game, like getting crushed on walls and things like that. It's actually pretty easy to avoid. If you think you're going to get crushed, just press A and move backwards. So there's going to be another hidden door right here, another bonus round. Partway through this playthrough, what I'm going to do is just basically skip these bonus rounds, or I will access them because I need to access them in order to get the perfect bonus. But I don't need to play them because this game dishes out extra lives like crazy. There's another one right there. We're already up to 5 lives right now. Just like Chip and Dale, you can hit start and go to your pause screen there. Funny enough, select actually pauses the game. So there's 2 forms of pausing. Now you notice stuff gives you points. You do get score. So I've got, you know, 2,200 and 500 points. And unfortunately, kind of like other Capcom Disney games that give you score, the score is really redundant. It doesn't really do much for you, and there aren't really bragging rights, because when you beat the game, there's no final score display. So you really have no idea what your final score is when you beat the game. So again, this isn't a game you're gonna really try to play for points, unfortunately, which is kind of a bummer. I like it when games allow you to play for points. You know, sometimes the scoring systems are broken. Like this, you could technically just fly back and forth and respawn enemies infinitely. But, I mean, it's just an extra form of replay value, basically. So, yeah, this is our first boss here, and I actually got stuck on the outer edge of the wall. That happens sometimes. It's really weird. There is some jank in this game. But this guy basically shoots missiles up, and they will basically track wherever you are in the screen. They'll try to dive bomb you to like whatever horizontal line you're at on the screen. And so I like to stay high up and just shoot him diagonally. So I just tap down and B. Now, one of the other things about this game is that when you pitch up or down, you're not moving like straight up or straight down. You're actually moving at an angle, just as a real plane would. So it's a reason why in the beginning of the video I mentioned I don't think this is a very good shmup by traditional shmup standards. But once you get used to these mechanics, it's an interesting game. I don't really treat this as like a traditional shooter like Gradius or Abadox or something like that. You kind of go into it expecting a unique gameplay system, and you just have to learn that unique gameplay system, and so I don't lump it with traditional shmups. Even though there are shooting traditional shmup elements, I don't think it's that kind of game at its core. It's something else, and it's hard to explain. So yeah, here we go. We've actually, we've got a shop, and you've got a bunch of different things you can buy. If you're new to this game, avoid the mini Sea Duck. It's a lot of money, and all it is an extra life. This game hands out extra lives like crazy, so yeah, I don't recommend that. And this is a continue, so for $20,000 I can buy myself a continue. That might actually be worth it. Now, something to keep in mind is when you continue in this game, apparently you lose all your permanent upgrades. I guess they're not really that permanent if you lose them all when you continue. But when you buy these upgrades, you have them until the end of the game as long as you don't get to the game over screen. So I've got $224,000 right here. So this top one up here, parts for the engine, $200,000. That is that's a speed increase. Parts for the body, that gives me an extra hit point. So you start off with 3 hit points. This will extend it to 4. Parts for Super Rapid, 400,000, the most expensive thing. That lets me shoot 4 projectiles on screen at once. And parts for Basic Rapid Shot is only 40 grand. That lets me shoot 2 projectiles. So when you first start the first level, you can only shoot 1 projectile, which takes a little while to get used to, trust me. So I always go with the Basic Rapid Shot first. And then, as long as I can get the perfect bonuses, I can try to get the Super Rapid earlier, or go for the Speed Boost or something like that. So, you'll figure out a route of your own, like when you first learn how to play this game. Like, you're not going to get perfect bonuses, that extra 100,000 on every level, every time you know, I should say on your first time playing, because you gotta figure out some of the secret money bags and stuff, get used to the mechanics, but basically, the route I take now for my upgrades is actually very different from what it was when I first started, because now I'm a little more efficient in making money faster, so I can get my Super Rapid really quickly, so. But yeah, I'm not gonna buy anything else. You just hit start, and then you're good to go. So our next destination is the baseball stadium. Watch out for anti-aircraft fire and lay off the hot dogs. Now, the baseball stadium, I think, is actually a pretty big difficulty spike. There's a lot of, like, fast enemies that shoot out, like, mini enemies at the same time, and it gets very overwhelming. And while you can change direction and kind of try to play it safe, this has the classic Capcom respawn syndrome, where, like, the second an enemy's off screen... See, let's demonstrate it with this guy. So, he's off screen, we go back, boom, there he is again. Scroll it back, go back, there he is again. So, it's very easy to think, ooh, I can just go backwards and, you know, be in safety, but then you spawn somebody right away, and they smack right into you, because you can't see them. So, it's, yeah, so the back and forth mechanic in this game, it's very useful in certain situations, but when you're out in the open on a level like the baseball stadium, it's actually kind of dangerous to just constantly be switching back and forth. It might actually make the game harder, because you're going to end up making more enemies appear than you realistically want to appear. So, again, another extra life right there. Like I said, I think there's only 2 variations on this bonus stage, and, so this one always gives you that extra life at the end, and then the other one I think gives you an extra life more so about probably closer to halfway through that bonus level. Now you do have health pickups and things like that. Also, some of these enemies, as you notice, it's actually good to just avoid them instead of like really bothering with them. And there's our money bag. We gotta get that money bag if we want a perfect bonus. Big Baseball comes down. This is gonna actually be the boss fight later on. So he appears partway through this level. All these fruits and things like that, you get strawberries, you get cherries, you get bananas, and they're just points. That's all they do. It's literally all they do. So you really don't have to stress out going for the points. And this is another part where they're basically training you to just move back and forth so you don't get crushed. And again, this is usually a point of contention for people that play this game. Really, all you have to do is just flip directions. Press A. Now, one thing about pressing A, though, is that you do have to actually be, like, flat. If you're pitched up or pitched down, you can't actually change directions. So, you gotta make sure you're even. Otherwise, Baloo will not actually change directions, and that can be take a little while to get used to. There we go. That's our 1-up. How many lives do I have? 8. So what you can do is actually just sit on one of those walls if you want to end the bonus level early. And it looks like it's nighttime now. I actually really like that change of scenery. Or time of day change, I should say. Now, one of these guys is going to start blocking your bullets, and he can be a little frustrating to deal with. Alright, boss time. So for this guy, I like to just sit on the opposite side of the screen and just shoot him. He does this 3-way spread shot. It's pretty easy to avoid as long as you're at the back of the screen. Now, I should mention, the character hitboxes in this game are not very good. They are, just like Chip and Dale, very huge hitboxes. Which, you know, given like some of the other engine quirks here, I feel like they're just, you know, they had just modified the Chip and Dale engine or just reused it. So there's a lot of similarities to how Chip and Dale feels with regards to hitboxes and lack of iframes and things like that. So now also you got to keep in mind on a boss like that, you know, you have to, you know, fit your way through that three-way projectile set, but you're always, when you pitch up and down, you're moving forward at the same time, and so you have to keep that in mind, and it just really does a number on your mental state, your thought process. Alright, so what we're going to do is do the super rapid. This gives us a lot of shots, so we can have up to 4 shots on screen now, and kind of like a Mega Man game, you can just taper those out, so, but it's going to make life a lot easier. So that fiend, Don Carnage, has laid mines in the clouds, so be careful. Now this is another level where there aren't really any hidden money bags. So if you're trying to get that perfect bonus, just don't stress too much if you don't find any hidden money bags. There are 2 hidden bonus levels, or bonus rounds. One's right here. And again, we've got 8 lives. So I'm gonna go ahead and just exit this. I just want to show you where these bonus rounds are. And again, my goal is to get all the money bags, get all the crates here. The cargo. There are lots of hidden extra lives as well. We're gonna actually get one here coming up shortly. Our next bonus round is actually underneath this set of clouds. So I just go back here. Boom, there it is. Just like this. And I'm just gonna exit, just trying to show you where they are. And our one up is gonna be, I think, past this section. So lightning zaps these orbs, and they end up shooting at a 45-degree angle. Let's go backwards, and then go back again, and then go back again, and back again, just like that. And we got a money bag right here. We can actually flip around, because there are some of these jets that just kind of fly right at you. Difficult to avoid if you don't know they're coming up. And this is our boss fight. So it's basically got 2 types of patterns. If these guys are forming one object, that's their weak spot. You go to the opposite side of the screen, just sit in the middle. And then their other one is, one guy will be on the left, one guy will be on the right, just like this. They both do 3-way spread shots. You can just go upwards and dodge them, as long as you read the pattern fast enough. It's actually one of the more tedious bosses in the game, because you can't actually do damage to them when they're in this phase right here. And whether they come together and form a weak point is just completely random from what it feels like. There are times where they've come down and done this spread shot pattern, like, seriously, like 7 times or something, and it's like, oh, come on, guys. You're just wasting my time. There we go. Just dodge it. Alright, should almost be dead. Alright, there we go. Good deal. And another perfect bonus. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the engine. That'll give us a speed booster. You're headed to the magic house. Don't faint, Baloo, but it may be, haunted. So in the instruction manual, it actually calls this the haunted house, but she calls it the magic house. So, it's kind of interesting. Now, there's not a lot of, like, you know, deep detail to this game. Nothing crazy that I'm gonna be able to divulge to you guys. It's nothing like DuckTales, where, like, you get a certain amount of money and you get the best ending. TaleSpin doesn't have anything like that, unfortunately. Which is kind of a bummer, because it is about collecting money and stuff like that. And I've gotten upwards of like a $600,000 threshold after finishing the game. And no, nothing extra, same ending screen, which is kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. So again, like I said, it's just all about collecting those money bags. It's all about, you know, getting those bonus rooms, and then getting yourself the cargo. Another bonus room right here. Alright, 10 lives now. Let's go ahead and just exit. Like I said, this game just hands out extra lives like Halloween candy. It's crazy. And that's another reason why I actually don't buy extra lives in this, because I just feel like there's no need. So these chandeliers, they do drop when you get close to them. Another money bag right there. I like to take the top route here, because the fireplaces shoot fire up. And also, I think there's a bonus level right there. Yep. I will say, as far as the levels themselves are concerned, I think the Magic House is the most difficult. It's the most difficult to figure out and go through consistently without taking damage. And one such section is this right here. It's just, all these guys pop out, bricks fall on top of you, and then you've got these ghosts, which are also difficult to deal with. I might actually end up dying here. And look at that, they just respawned. That's what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, you've got this back and forth mechanic, which can be really handy, but then just everything that you've already killed just respawns, and it so kind of defeats the purpose from, like, a strategy standpoint. And now, since I've died, it's actually possible I might not get the perfect bonus. Which would be a bummer, but it's okay. Not a big deal. And they just disappear after a while, and we're on to our boss fight. There are some cool boss fights in this game, I'm not gonna lie. It's got some kind of classic Capcom style bosses. And so for this guy, we have to hit him in the bow tie. All you have to do is just sit at the bottom left, and then just tap up and B at the right moments. You're basically shooting at a 45-degree angle, hitting his weak point. Just like that. Let's see if it gave us the perfect bonus. Oh, it did! Okay, so dying doesn't affect your perfect bonus as long as you've grabbed everything that you need to. Okay. I actually wanted to verify that in a practice session, but I actually completely forgot to do that. Because guides and walkthroughs don't mention anything about that, so... Alright, so I still need some more money to get the extra hit point, so we're just gonna go ahead and play the next level. After we come out of this next level, we'll have enough money to buy that, and then we're basically free to just spend the rest of our money on continues and extra lives. So it says, we're late, Baloo. Take the shortcut through town, but watch your wings. There are skyscrapers under construction. This enemy has quite a few of these hang glider guys, and they're really fast, so very easy to get hit by them. And this gold building here has a bonus room to the left of it. Still at 10 lives. And we're gonna actually have two money bags here. Both are hidden. So just constantly shoot at a 45-degree angle here. You'll get one, and then you can get the other one in the corner. I was actually missing the perfect bonus on this level for quite some time, and then I just magically found that one hidden money bag, so... The one that was slightly above the ground. Alright, these guys drop planks. Don't want to get hit by them. It's easy to just go to the other side and then work your way up. There's another extra life. Like I said, they hand them out like crazy. Like, it's clear that this game in some ways was designed for kids, but in other ways, like, the difficulty is actually pretty up there for certain boss fights. This is another boss fight, actually, that seems impossible, like, the first time you play it. And then, you know, I was able to figure out a pattern and play to that pattern. Another extra life. Go ahead and exit that. Alright, so this guy has a wrecking ball, and what you want to do is try to shoot the wrecking ball. But also, it goes down wherever you are on screen. And so you want to try to, like, kind of bait it into certain positions. And I took a hit, kind of sloppy, but that's okay. So once you got rid of the wrecking ball, all he does is just do these projectiles. So you can just kind of sit up here, press down and B, and then make sure you go back to the hugging the ceiling. But that wrecking ball just annihilated me the first time I played this. I just died and died and died and died again. But yeah, got the perfect bonus, so good to go there. Not that it really matters at this point, we're gonna have enough money anyway to get our last upgrade. Alright. Might as well buy another extra life, and I'm gonna just go broke with continues. Why not? Oh, he raised the price! So continues actually go up in price every time. I did not know that, because I don't usually buy continues. Alright, so we're doing well, apparently. You big lug of a bear. The next delivery is taking you to the cave. Fly carefully, hotshot. The cave's narrow, and you're not. But yeah, we're maxed out on power-ups, basically, so, you know, getting all the cargo is just kind of, I don't know, just for bragging rights. It's not really necessary. There's no fail state for not getting enough cargo, as far as I'm aware. And we've got these snakes. You kind of have to hit them in their mouths. But sometimes it feels like they're almost impossible to kill. And you're gonna have these objects on the back tracks. Almost reminds me a little bit of one of Sigma's bosses in Mega Man X. It's this big spider that's riding along these background tracks. And I believe there's going to be an extra life up here. Yep, there it is. Now, once you've seen a few levels in this game, you've almost seen the entire game. And so, honestly, a lot of this game just kind of blends together for me. Not a lot of levels feel, like, very distinct. Many of them have a vertical shaft like this, which is a nice way to mix up the gameplay, but you can tell, like, the devs sort of found, I don't know, a basic rhythm with their design elements. It was like, alright, let's have the player go right. Alright, now let's have him go vertically downwards, and then have him go right, and then go vertically upwards, and boss time, you know, that sort of thing, and it's... The game isn't usually too chaotic, but the final boss is actually kind of the opposite of that. It is, the final boss is actually really overwhelming. I can imagine a lot of kids got to the final boss and were like, yeah, I give up. If you were one of those kids, definitely post a comment down below. I actually did not know a single kid that had this game back in the day. I knew lots of kids with Disney Capcom games, like hell, I own Chip and Dale. I had friends with DuckTales, and actually I had Darkwing Duck as well. But I didn't know anybody with this game. So, wow, so they want to charge you an arm and a leg for your third extra life. $500,000, no thanks. It's kind of a ripoff when I can go to usually 2 bonus stages in every level, and find hidden extra lives within the levels themselves, so... Anyway, this is strange. You certainly have a dangerous load today. You're headed to the jungle. Try not to upset the natives. So in this one, you've got these alligators or crocodiles on the bottom of the screen. If you get close to them, they lunge forward really high into the air, so they're not really all that dangerous, but it's just something to keep in mind. It's a kind of an interesting gameplay mechanic. You got these little totems that spit around, they shoot projectiles at you. No perfect bonus. I was trying to go down right, and that happens a lot there in that part. We're like right here, I'm holding down right, and I'm getting stuck in the air. I don't know what's going on with that, but I've noticed it happens a lot on this section in particular, so there's definitely some jank in this game. There we go. Bonus round. 15 lives. That is one thing you can do in this game, is just, you know, try to have an extra life challenge. How many lives can I finish the game with? Although you'd have to pause the game, like, right as you beat the final boss. That would actually be the way to get the final score. Alright, boss time. Gotta hit him in this, this jewel in the middle. But then you also have to destroy his projectiles here. And funny enough, these actually look like projectiles from Silver Surfer. Another not so widely appreciated shoot 'em up on the NES. But actually one of my favorite games of the system. I definitely notice similarities like that between games when I see similar sprites and whatnot. There we go. Now, something I wanted to keep, I wanted to mention actually was that there are a lot of iframes. I didn't get a perfect bonus because I missed that one load, that one crate. Bosses in particular have a lot of invincibility frames, and so you know when they're blinking, you can't actually do any damage to them. So I like to actually taper my shots. So instead of going like mash, 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 try to mash as fast as I can, I do like tap, 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 or something like that. That way, you know, every projectile is more likely to actually hit and do damage. Otherwise, I'm just kind of like wasting thumb energy. So this is our last delivery of the day. Give your plane lots of gas. The mountain district's full of traps. Now this level is actually the shortest level in the game. But it is the level that houses the final bosses. So for the first phase of this final boss, what I end up liking to do is basically just follow him in a clockwise pattern. And then try to avoid his projectiles, and I constantly flip directions as I'm doing that. Try to stay ahead of him. If you're right behind him, or he's right on your tail, then you're gonna take tons of damage. And again, because of like the lack of iframes on your character, it's very easy to just lose all your hit points really fast. So for this part, we just have to take down these little blades, and then we hit the core engine in the back. And then you want to focus on all the little enemies, otherwise they will overwhelm you. You can see there's a lot of stuff going on here. There we go, and we just beat the game. Oh, and I can't even see my lives. I tried pausing and it wouldn't let me. Man, so there's really no way to check your score at the end. I guess technically you could if, like, you know, you checked it before you did the final shot, but then does the boss give you points? Will we ever know? I don't know. Someone will have to look into the code on this game. Anyways, Shere Khan curses that fool Don Carnage blew it again, but I'll acquire that company if it's the last thing I do. Yeah, apparently Shere Khan, I think one of the bases for the TV show was like he's trying to acquire like Baloo's company or something like that. But I haven't seen that show since I was a kid. But apparently it's pretty good if you go back to it. I've seen some retrospectives on it more recently, and yeah. So anyway, that's basically it. We just beat TaleSpin on NES, and that's the ending. It's a very short ending, which is actually very typical for these Capcom Disney games, surprisingly. But yeah, like I said at the beginning of the video, it is a very unique game. As a shoot 'em up, I don't think it's particularly good, but if you try to just kind of play to its gameplay systems and mechanics, like, it's an interesting game. I'm glad I fired it up and was able to get through it and was thus able to show it off on my channel here. Is it a top tier NES game? Probably not, but it's still got that Capcom Disney charm, and it's, I think, still fairly fun. So, like I said again, I'm glad I went through it. Probably won't go through it again anytime soon, unless I do some kind of variety stream and people want to see it, but, you know, I'm glad I did. So, and if you never played this, I do recommend giving it a try. A lot of people kind of trash the game, saying it's like, oh, it's just a terrible game outright, but I think what it is like people just never really got used to the mechanics and, you know, understood what to do in the game. So, but when you do, it's pretty cool. So, but yeah, guys, I don't really have anything else. I know it's been a while since my last quick play, which was Jaws on the NES. If you guys missed that, feel free to go check that out. That's another one I learned recently that I ended up just really enjoying. And actually, I think Jaws is actually a legitimately, like, really fun game. Much more fun than this game. This is a good game that you kind of learn. You play through a couple times, and you're like, okay, I'm done. But Jaws is like the kind of game you can just go back to over and over again, because it's just really fast and lots of different ways to play through that game. So, but yeah, I mean, TaleSpin is still pretty cool. If you played this growing up, or if you have it in your collection, you played it more recently for the first time, you know, let me know your thoughts on the game, because it's not one I hear a lot of people talk about, and especially from people that actually grew up with the game. So I'd be very curious to know how people basically, you know, perceived this game when it was new and fresh, and, you know, it was this and DuckTales and Chip and Dale and stuff like that on the market at the time. So, but that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I've got a ton of Let's Plays and quick plays and whatever I call them these days on my channel, and we do live streams as well, that I try to do on a regular basis. And yeah, if you like that type of stuff, definitely follow me here, and I've got more in the works, so stay tuned for that. For everybody already subbed, thanks as always for your support. I know I haven't been pumping out content as often lately, but trust me, it's always in the back of my mind, and I'm trying to get it out, but life is hectic, and trying to make do with what I've got. But yeah, appreciate your support nonetheless, and until the next one, guys, take it easy.